Anyone who's not aware, Trigger Ellipse, who unfortunately has left to go for a run, posted this on Blue Sky a few weeks ago with the basic premise being that all FPL content, especially nowadays, not necessarily historically, it has become too similar. So if we look at he used the thumbnails in his example. You can see there they're not all identical. I mean, we can see Praz, Andy, and is that Fran? All use the face in yours, but there's a few different players, but similar colours. Largely Alexander Isaac, largely similar. Would you say so, Steve-O?
Yeah, if you look at it and you go, it's all give or take.
Yeah, I'll just expand on what I'm saying a bit, and then not only that, but the similar types of videos. So
yeah,
I mean, and this isn't the first time I've talked about this. I've picked up on this particularly in my tier list videos where I talk about short form content creators, very similar videos each week, transfer plans, team selection. What other ones are there, Steve? I'm thinking Final Thoughts has become a thing over the last couple of seasons, hasn't it? So very similar thumbnails, very similar video content, usually similar styles. So I want to kind of ask two questions, Steve-O. First of all, has FPL content become too similar? And secondly, and we'll address second, I'll ask your opinion on that in a sec. Is it inevitable that they are? Which is the part that I'm going to pick up on. So first of all, I'll say this for me and Steve. Obviously, not all FPL content is the same. So FPL Juice do their, it's more like a big breakfast, as you call it, don't you, with FPL, Steve-O? Yelena's videos are a reaction stream. I do interviews, which, are about... This channel is probably more about content creation in FPL than it is as much as it is about FPL. Elite FPL, is an FPL channel, but they are very different in their own unique way. Not all FPL content is the same. But we're talking here about, the big channels, really, aren't we? So Steve-O, anyway, yeah. That's it, sort of the introduction. What are your thoughts?
But the question that you asked regarding, is it inevitable that it's all going to end up being the same? Yeah, it happens in every single media industry you can imagine. I always use the deathcore genre back in 2000 and at its peak.
So to go back, so I want to get on to that. Are they all the same?
What, the content that these people do?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's my point. That's what I'm trying to get at. So with deathcore in 2009, 2010 at its absolute peak, pretty much every single band sounded identical. They were just copying, like they do in every industry, just copying what's popular and what's breaking into radio / CDs, demos, etc. You then look at the fitness world and watch the trend that's going on in the fitness world over the last 2 or 3 years. How much food you can eat in the space of 24 hours. It's just the same content. When it comes to FPL, it's just the same content. And it's what me and you have discussed privately. It's about doing what an algorithm wants you to do. It's what the audiences want you to do. Deathcore, what do people want? Just give us a breakdown and pig squeal. That's all I care about. What do fitness people want to consume? I just want to see a huge man eat a load of food. In the FPL space, I just want to see somebody tell me what to do.
Do tell us what you think in the comments, by the way. Yeah, I mean, because when you think about this, I think like the Final Thoughts video is something, I may be wrong, but let's talk FPL. Nice view of Steve-O's crotch there. Let's talk FPL Andy introduced. And I know Raptor does one now, but the reason that they, he probably calls it something slightly different, but the reason that happens is because they're successful, aren't they? And then, I mean, Andy is
of course, yes.
Andy is different because he is literally the what's the word?
OG.
Yeah, he's the pioneer. Well, one of the main pioneers. I mean, have been other pioneers as well. But it's inevitable that someone does something and it works and it's getting them views. Other people are going to do the same, aren't they?
Yeah, like I state, that happens everywhere. Everywhere, everything in life is exactly what happens. If it's successful, like humans are, we just follow, rather than being the one that's the inventor. We're the ones that just consume the invention. And that's what, with a lot of people that go into the YouTube world specifically, it's, I like a hobby. What are my favorite YouTubers doing on YouTube for my hobby? Oh, they do this. They use these particular color schemes. They use these particular statistics. They use this background. It's inevitable.
Yeah,
like you state, it's inevitable.
And to be fair, I've tried to make my thumbnails, my interviews different. But for this one, I've got a pick. I've got a player. It's got the same background. It's got me and you and Saka because it works. You know, but I mean, obviously, my channel is very small, so I'm not getting those sorts of views. But it generally does work. You know what I mean? That's why people do it. But
yeah, of course, yeah.
The other question, Steve-O, is does it matter? I mean, have you got an issue? Not with the people that are doing it, because obviously we love everyone in FPL, the FPL content community, pretty much. But do you think it's an issue, or that everyone seems to be producing the same content?
I don't think it's an issue. Me personally, it's down to personal choice, isn't it? Do you like the content or not? Do you like the music these particular bands are playing? Do you like the particular information that fitness influencers are giving you? Are you being entertained? And when there is a influx of information / content available at your fingertips nowadays, like I've said before, it's down to us, the consumer, to just pick and choose. Because I think you are up there with one of the highest rates of FPL content consumption out there. I know some people that consume a lot, but you are probably up there.
Not now, but
quite high.
Yeah, I definitely used to be. Yeah, I mean, I probably still do now, but a lot of that time that's because I'm researching for my interviews. But yeah.
And for me, if I was to consume, I'm just going to use names off the top of my head. Matt Tennyson, Matt does all the Matts. Matt does fitness. Mike Thurston. Who else? What other Muppets are there? Oh, Jamie West, whatever his blasted name is. It's all the same stuff. And for me, and they're fitness influencers, by the way, and it just gets to the point of where I've just got to choose the one which I can relate with, or I can gravitate towards. And it's the same with FPL. It's which content creator out there, which 2 or 3 content creators do you genuinely gravitate towards, and just stick with that, because I don't know where people get the time to be consuming, or even in your case, the amount of FPL specifically channel / podcast that you listen to, because when it's kind of like the same regurgitated information out there, just slightly different ways in which it's delivered, or just slightly different players here or there, but overall it's predominantly just the same. And that's why things like deathcore just died off. It's no coincidence that the fitness industry influencers are very slowly dying off, because people have realized these gimmick stuff is just not working for our channel. So obviously all the big guns, like the ones that you're presenting here, will always outperform and just flatten all the smaller channels. It's just simply, it's like, and like I know, it's just business at the end of the day, and it is what it is. Gary,
just read out a couple of comments there. Colm says, I stopped watching the big boys. That must be the reason then. Though I do watch the Scout and Hub videos that have more than one person. Andrew says, no one is brave enough to put their head above the parapet and make a change to how we consume content. The Paul Hustler, I've read your comment in my head. I don't quite get what you mean, Maybe you could rephrase it. Something about Mane, but I'm not sure. Oh, show me the mat. Okay, yeah. Can you rewrite that? Because I don't know exactly what you mean. But and Andrew also says, to me, personally, I feel I have to have a connection, relate to them, and enjoy how they come across with their content. That's Andrew Ferguson, by the way, who is a Patreon of Elite FPL, and I mean, yeah, I mean, he left the comment on your Patreon the other day, didn't he, about having some viewers having more of a cult following because they're more unique as opposed to the masses.
Yeah, Juice, Elite FPL have a very hardcore cult following. It was Graham. Well, Graham and Andrew basically said the same thing, where channels like ours, very niche channels, where it has got a hardcore cult following, whereas a lot of these people, yes, I'm sure they've got people that have watched every single video every single week, but overall, it's every season they've got different people watching them all the time, because people like we've just kind of mentioned, kind of slowly get a bit bored of kind of the generic green. I know you've got it, but the generic green screen and literally just again. Tell me what.
I'm unique as in I have a green screen, but I don't have anything. I don't. It's just.
Yeah, where is the kitchen lounge that you had the last time?
Well, it doesn't. It doesn't work. It only seems to work for the interviews when I'm not moving around quite as much. So
yeah. But in all seriousness, Raptor said it on your video the other day. You know what I mean? Where he basically mentioned the fact that FPL content, even Nick said it, FPL content is dead within the space of 48 hours at a push. FPL is one of the I suppose football channels, but FPL specifically is one of the very, very few niche hobbies out there where, to be honest with you, a video can be irrelevant within 24 hours. So for argument's sake, the double game week 33 announcement yesterday, I'm sure Andy and all the other big channels, within 0.2 seconds of that being released, they released a video about double game week 33. That information by today is irrelevant because we already know. And it's that's when I feel quite sorry for these full-time content creators who have to get that information instantly out there. Now, yes, I know it's their job, so it is more easily done. But for small-time channels like ours, you kind of rehashing information that people already know. And the reason why people gravitate towards channels like this and ours or whatever is because it's about the personalities. It's about the conversation. And in fact, the one thing that Andrew said on the Patreon comment, which kind of hit home for me, was our channels are for adults and they're for people which want to consume a conversation between two adults talking about a game that we love. And if we go off track with other topic points regarding adult conversations, these people are happy to listen in because it's like listening to people at the pub.
Like the one we're having now, but isn't it?
Of course, yes. Whereas what most FPL consumers want is, again, tell me what to do, tell me what to do, tell me what to do. I would argue as well that the viewer, what's it called again? The analytics, where it shows how long someone's been consuming your video. I forgot what it's called.
Watch time.
Watch time. I bet you our videos get more watch time than these people.
Yeah. Just read a few comments. Andy Ferguson, it maybe because I'm nearly 43, but I have a different outlook to life. Then who knows? Zykel says, Juice, Elite, FPL a beer, Trigger Lips are my go out, and Black Box is king, and Prince is vocal just behind him. And Paul Hustler says, ask Steve-O about Show Me the Marnie. He will know.
I mean, I do know, but I don't know what you need to ask me about him. Show Me the Marnie was an individual who was part of the Elite FPL community a few seasons ago, and essentially every single game week he would take anywhere between a -8 and a -16 every single week.
Oh yeah, he made the comment earlier. That's what he was saying. Yeah.
Yeah, he was an individual who openly admitted that he watched a lot of football, whether it was Premier League, Champions League, Euro. Basically, he just watched football, and he made decisions based on. But basically, he was doing what Alex Volo does now, but just more successful. You know, I love Alex Volo to bits, but unfortunately,
risky manager.
Very risky manager, but with logic behind it. Whereas Show Me the Mane was doing all these -12, very similar to what Jason did the other day with the -12. It's, I've got a load of rubbish in my team. How do I correct this? Just do a -12, get it gone. And then it turned out that he was, I don't know, 8 points better off than either A, people like me, or B, better off than what his former team would have been like. And you do that across the season, it is going to work out. And Show Me the Mane was proof in the pudding, because he was, it was ridiculous. He was like in the top 10,000 or something doing this strategy.
Yeah.
Just doing -12s, -16s. So I don't think, you know, us as consumers watching this or anything will always say don't do it. But actually, nothing's going to happen if you feel the players that you're bringing in are going to outperform, like Jason did, the garbage that he had in his team. It will work out.
I know you haven't watched my interview with Baker yet, which channel members have access to. But he basically said one of the things that pisses him off about FPL is people tweeting or whatever, I didn't take a hit, as if it's something to be proud of. It's like, I didn't take a hit, but what does that mean? You know, it doesn't mean anything in itself, does it? Do you know what I mean? It has to be put into the context of, I didn't take a hit and it worked out. But just not taking a hit in itself is not something. It's not an achievement, is it? Because maybe if you did take a hit, you would have got more points.
Yeah, I mean FPL in itself has changed over the many years. It's why I like listening to your conversations with the like the old schoolers like Mark, Trigger Lips, and I can argue Andy and Az, these four guys that were part of Scout when it was kind of, you know, at a peak level of community, shall we say. That, like, what I mean is like a lot of community members getting on with one another, having real discussions. And now it's just, like I said to you, or more specifically, like I said on the post that got me banned, where basically, essentially, it's just about, look at me, look how amazing I am. And unfortunately, it's not about wanting to have like this, conversing with one another about FPL and talking about strategies. And I think you're wrong. Here's why. Actually, you've made a good argument as to why I am wrong, and so on and so forth. It's not really about that. It's just basically, I mean, Steve always said this point. It's basically, you get a load of statistics about players in the Premier League, and we just present it to you. That's it. That's the simplicity of YouTube content in the FPL space, to be completely frank. But it's just, unfortunately, for people like me or you know, others, it's not, for me, interesting content. It's very flat and stale. But if that's what the consumer wants, like you will know with business, you give what the consumer wants. It's, I don't know, I open up a shop tomorrow and the consumer wants milk and eggs. And I say, well, yeah, I can provide milk and eggs, but I'm going to go, rather than cow's milk and chicken eggs, I'm going to go down the route of getting you goat's milk and duck eggs. Yeah, but we want chicken eggs and a cow milk. Yeah, but the health benefits from these particular products is going to be better than having chicken eggs and normal milk. I'm not interested in that. I just want to get the cheaper stuff. And it's kind of like a state with a lot of businesses. If you just copy the more successful businesses, you're going to go a longer way than someone being kind of naive to go completely against it. But then again, it's all about what you want out of the content that you create, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Steve, I'd say, So I haven't really given my complete opinion on this, but in a way, it's inevitable, particularly that what I call the daily content creators are similar because they're working with exactly the same thing. You know, what are people interested in? Who they're going to pick? What transfers they're going to make? What information do they have to present? Who's been injured? XG stats. So in a way, I kind of get it. It's very difficult to make yourself different, but I think that almost works against them because if I watch as you said, there's millions of good daily content creators out there. I mean, podcast is slightly different because you can differentiate yourself a bit more over an hour or 2 hours. But once I've watched one of them, mine being Andy, I don't go and watch any other ones because I know it's just going to be the same thing. Presented, it might be, if it's Raptor, it might be slightly longer form. If it's Focal, it might be slightly shorter form. But beyond the length, it's just the same thing. So I think it's difficult because, as I say, they are all using the same information, but they almost shoot themselves in the foot by they're all just because it is all such copy and paste. Unless you're someone who really, really is so into FPL, probably has an FPL content addiction in terms of watching it. What's the point in watching more than one video a day? Do you know what I mean? Even podcasts, you could argue.
Yeah, and it also gets into the whole dynamics of, what's that rank of somebody? Like, why should I listen to Andy when he's 300,000th, when this particular individual is 100,000th? But wait a minute, this guy here, look at him, he's 5,000th. And like I state, the FPL world is a very, very, very... the consumer is a very strange breed of person. A lot of them, not all, but the majority. It's like a state. It's
I certainly
tell me what to do. It's quite tragic, really, because it's supposed to be a game which we're supposed to enjoy, but we're relying on others to basically give us the information to tell us what to do. For then to us, like we've already talked about today about wildcarding. You admittedly said subconsciously, you were like, well, everybody else is doing it, I better do it. And okay, admittedly, in your case, it actually worked out to be for the better. For my case, I didn't fall into the trap of, oh God, we're going to have to wildcard because others are doing it. We did it because rather than taking a -4 or -8, it was better to just kind of keep with the crowd and actually wildcard then. But as we both know,
that is the same reason, actually.
It's the same reason in the sense of the fact that it made logical sense, but I didn't feel the peer pressure into doing it. It just made logical sense, where it sounds like from your point of view, you may have panicked a bit and wildcarded. Yeah, no, that's the thing. I didn't panic. I said to Ray, do we do it or not? And he just went, yeah, let's just get on with it because we're going to be doing it anyway in 31.